Kingdom Come Deliverance is a tough game initially, and you may be struggling to survive in medieval times, but there are plenty of things you can do to make your life easier in-game. Here are 50 tips to help you out, and I guarantee there are ones in this video you didn't already know about. And I'm going over all kinds of things in the game, but we're going to start with one of my favourite tips regarding quest rewards, where if the quest has multiple rewards, you can usually get all of them. For example, the Thunderstone quest you do in Kuttenberg region, you are tasked with finding an item called the Thunderstone for Kona in the town of Horsechan. It's a long quest where along the way you will find the original owner of the stone, and he also wants it back. Basically at the end of the quest you must decide to give it to either NPC or keep it for yourself. However, if you give it back to Kona and get your quest rewards, you can simply steal the stone back from her, and you can then fast travel to Tomlin even after the quest has finished and give him the Thunderstone as well, and he will also give you a reward. You can then steal the Thunderstone back from him again and keep it for yourself. It gives you an unknown passive buff, so it's worth doing. But this also applies to every quest in the game. You can steal the items back from NPCs after you've given it to them for the quest end and keep them for yourself, and you can give it to other people to get multiple request rewards for any quest that has them, so make sure you always do this for any quest that you can. Always carry a potion of painkiller, digestion and chamomile brew. There are so many missions that want you to diagnose and heal people, and these three items always come in super handy. You can't save easily in game, but you can save and quit and reload your game at any time if you want to make a save. Make sure to complete side quests and tasks before doing main missions, as many are missable. Also complete any side missions that pop up during main missions, as these are definitely missable. Try to maximize your dialogue stat as early as possible. It will make quests so much easier when you can pass all the speech checks. Skill books, skill teachers, talking to random people, and intentionally getting caught by guards, for example, are easy ways to increase your speech early. Get your dog Mutt super early, as he can help you out in combat if you're struggling. You can also level up the Houndmaster skill fast by feeding Mutt and then petting him straight away. Similarly, you can get your horseback Pebbles early if you travel to this location. It makes getting around a lot quicker. Pebbles might not be the best horse initially, but after you ride Pebbles for 35 kilometers in game, you will unlock a secret skill called Good Old Pebbles that gives you a considerable increase to his stats. Don't forget, if you need more storage and are over encumbered, you can store stuff on your horse. You can throw stones at birds' nests to knock them down from branches to get free loot. Spending a few hours maximizing your lockpicking early on will be a huge advantage. I did it in Trotsky Castle because there are a ton of chests to open here of all kinds, and then you can wait a few game days to get them all to reset. I could pick very hard locks very early in the game by just doing this for a few hours, and it makes the rest of the game a lot easier, especially once you reach around halfway through the main missions. You will be required to definitely pick some harder locks. The best way to make money and get weapons and armors in game is to simply steal them from vendors. Especially once you're in Gutenberg, you can get all the best gear for free, plus thousands of groschen from stealing them from harder chests. Once you steal something, you simply need to wait in game, and the stolen symbol will go away after a while. Then the item is yours to keep. If you want to sneakily sell a stolen item, you can add one to a bunch of other items you are selling to a regular vendor, and they won't notice. You should be searching all chests you come across for skill books, as they not only improve your skill, but give you a good amount of XP. If you want to enter into any of the shops at night in Kuttenberg without being seen, or your sneaking is not high enough, you can use the secret underground map, which you can enter from the outside of the city using this to get around and sneak into buildings. The best food in game is honey. It doesn't spoil and can be found at the very start of the game in abundance in Troskowitz. Just take it from the beehives in the south of town. You can even wait in game for it to respawn and keep getting more. Speaking of food, keep an eye on how spoiled your food is. If you eat something that's too low in quality, you will get food poisoning. If you're struggling to keep your food from spoiling, remember you can visit smokehouses found in most towns to dry your meat, and then that will stop them from spoiling. Make sure to keep visiting bathhouses to clean yourself. You can check on your armor, how dirty or bloody your gear is. Also, you are healed at bathhouses, and if you go with one of the bath wenches, you'll get a nice buff as well.
Great.
Oh, glad.
You don't see stamina.
Some people struggle with finding places to sleep, but remember you can buy permanent rooms at most inns in the game. This also gives you access to free food at the inn.
Can I spend the night here? I'll pay you well if you let me spend the night here every now and then.
But all I have is an old straw.
That's enough for me. Agreed. I'll pay. I hope that'll be...
Good.
If you want to make dice playing easier, then you can steal the best dice from players before you play them, and then they won't have them in the game. In the Nomad's camp, there is a horse handler called Mikolai who you can sell stolen horses to make money.
Are you in charge of the... Aye.
There's also a fence called Fence Whitebeard in the Nomad's camp who you can sell your stolen goods to early on.
How can I help you today, friend?
What do you have for...
During the main quests in Trotsky Castle, there is a room at the top of the tower with a sick person you need to cure as part of a main mission. I won't go into details, but in the room next to him there are 2 golden items which you can take, which will sell for 2,000 groschen. A ton of money for this early on in the game. There's also a couple of nice dice that you can steal from the bench nearby, and if your lockpicking is high enough, you will get another good dice inside of the very hard chest. If you're facing a large group of enemies, try to move your target to face one of the ones on the outer edge so you're not being attacked from both sides. If you try to attack one of the enemies in the middle, you usually get attacked from multiple enemies at once, whereas if you stick to the outside, then you will usually only attack by one. If you find a group of enemies you want to kill, if you stand far enough away from them, you can keep shooting arrows at them without them spotting you, making it easier to defeat a group of enemies. Learning the Master Strike and combos with Tomcat is a must early on as possible, as it makes combat a lot easier. Remember that weapons have pre-required stats in order to use them. You must have 20 strength and 23 agility before you can use the reforged Radzig Kabbalah sword, the best sword in the game, which you get fairly early on. You can still use these weapons, but they are nerfed in damage, so make sure you have the pre-required stats before you equip a weapon. Get your unarmed skill up as early as you can, as there's a whole bunch of quests in the game that require you to win fistfights, and they're usually pretty tough. Speaking of fistfights, many opponents can be super tough to defeat, but I find the easiest way to beat anyone in a fistfight is to simply dodge their attacks, but don't counter them. Then hit the punch button. If you miss the attack, then you can just wait again for them to attack and try again. But if you hit them the first time, then you simply spam the punch button. They usually struggle to avoid being hit multiple times, and this way you can defeat even the toughest foes. One of the easiest ways to defeat a tough enemy in combat is to learn how to counter-attack instead of parrying. I think it may be tied to one of the combat missions, but you essentially keep your weapon in the opposite side of where their weapon is. So if you're holding their sword to the right, you place yours to the left. As soon as they attack, instead of parrying, you also attack and you will hit them with your weapon. Another good combat tip is to dodge instead of parry. When prompted, dodge, then quickly strike, then you can dodge again.
I yield! Mercy!
Don't forget you can also apply poison to your weapons, which will give you an edge in combat. Just make sure you're not fighting or dueling with an NPC who you don't want to die, because the poison can kill them after the fight.
My stomach! I must have food poisoning.
There is a combat cheese in the game, which you can do by simply pressing the heavy hit button or holding it, so R2 on PlayStation, RT on Xbox, or holding left click on PC, I think. Make sure you're aiming at the defensive side of your opponent, so the side they're holding their weapon on, then quickly move your attack to the opposite side and release your attack. You will always hit them. The best way to level up your archery skill is to simply enter and compete in archery contests found on the map. You get provided with arrows and don't need to worry about picking them back up.
Too shabby, friend. You've earned your reward.
Thank you.
If you want to use better weapons early on, make sure to unlock the skills that reduce the amount of strength and agility required to use weapons. If you're crafting weapons, don't make any of the good ones until you unlock the Martin's secret skill that allows crafted items to be the best possible quality. Make good use of potions, especially for passing speech checks, helping in combat, or healing when you can't find an inn or bathhouse. I didn't really bother with alchemy in the game, as it was easier or quicker to simply steal money and buy potions, or steal the potions, and I never really needed to use them. But if you do find you're struggling and you want to use potions, then doing alchemy and raising the alchemy skills is definitely going to be worth your time, as you'll be able to not only create better quality potions than you can buy, but you'll also unlock some really useful skills, like the Secret of Secrets skill. Potions are a great way to make money fast as well. They can be sold for decent prices, and you can get a skill that allows you to craft 6 at once. Walking around while over encumbered will level your strength stat and vitality stat. When blacksmithing, equip the blacksmith apron and leather gloves, as it gives you a boost to your blacksmithing skill, even though it doesn't tell you that when you equip them. Get the Explorer perk from the scholarship tree as soon as possible, as it reveals so many things on the map that are easy to miss. Leveling the scholarship skill can be made easy by breaking into any scribe's room, simply stealing and reading all of their books. There's a perk called Flower Power that increases your charisma by 2 if you have 30 or more herbs on you. Make sure to dry them at a drying rack, and then you can keep them on you permanently, and you can store them on your horse inventory if you don't want them to take up space, and this will allow you to have a permanent +2 to your charisma early in the game. Keep your gear repaired at all times. The best way is to steal a bunch of repair kits, although if you have money, I prefer to take them to get repaired, as there are skills that give you XP for getting them repaired. You can get some decent armor and weapons right from the start of the game if you loot the barracks in Troskowitz. You get 3 outfit slots available to you to equip, 1 for combat. Usually you can equip 1 for having better speech and charisma, and 1 for having better sneaking, and this allows you to quickly change them without having to unequip and re-equip other stuff. Get a good stealth outfit as soon as possible. There is a quest early on called Materia Prima, where there is an option to participate in thieving, and you can get a stealth outfit from that. Also, you can get a good charisma outfit early on. You can steal perfect charisma outfits from the clothing trader in Troskowitz right at the start of the game. You'll need to do this anyway for doing the wedding quest later on. Guys, that is it for this video. I'm sure there are plenty of other tips for the game that I missed. Share them in the comments below if you have any. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.